would fire upon the people, and I know that historically we have been fired upon by our own troops, and we've been subdued by them most recently, I think, in Hurricane Katrina, where they were disarming people, which is totally against what they should have been doing. And then as early as the bonus soldiers back there, I think it was after, World War I. So there is a history here where soldiers, unfortunately, obey commands. Now, when you talk about the military, what makes you feel that they will be supporting this action?
Okay, very simply, first of all, we got that confirmed from my own Pentagon sources. Number two, if you go to the freedomreigns.us website, you'll find an archived recording where I address the troops. This concerns lawful and unlawful orders. The recording at the time, I didn't expect to go as far as it did. We got word the following day that it already was in Japan and was going through the troops like wildfire. Basically, what it states is in every field manual that you get that you are not to engage civilians. Period. There's no allowance for that other than in terms of a, quote, riot control situation. Now, further, the idea that law enforcement or the military is going to become a target is something that the chain of contact that I have made specific requests for. They wanted me to address the troops, they wanted me to allay the fears, and they wanted me to get in touch with the underground. These are your militias, armed groups, and people that would probably enjoy throwing hand grenades. I have basically expressed to all of the militias not to engage the military nor target law enforcement, no matter what the reason. That will not be tolerated. The other part of it is that then, on the other hand, I've also talked to active duty troops, and quite a few of them, and basically they are in agreement with the ideology of posse comitatus, that they are not a police force. However, when put into the situation of obeying or disobeying a lawful or unlawful order, they have choices, and those choices are basically eliminated in the field manual. Now, if they want to go past that, they go to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which stipulates the same things. The oath of service states that you'll defend and support the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. Right now, we have a load of enemies who happen to be in a position of financial control, who are dictating things to people all over the planet. The reason for the unemployment, the reason for the stock market crash in 2008, the reason for the housing bubble, all of these things are well known. Suppression of markets and things of this nature are what they do for fun and games. And believe me, life and death is a game to them. These are the same people that gave us bad ammunition in Vietnam. They're also the same people who refused to put armor plating on the Humvees and whatnot that they sent over to Iraq and Afghanistan. So these people are not nice. I don't particularly have a whole lot of use for them. Consequently, I decided to take the opposing view. And part of that opposing view involves two things. One, don't be overly concerned. Most of the things that you're used to, like the lights being on, the phone working, toilet flush, and all this sort of thing, are going to be part of what is preserved through the plan that I've seen. Now, this plan stipulates that the military will make sure that power stations are not blown up, that records are kept so that we can prosecute the bad guys much easier, and if need be. Now, and this is part of it, it's a good idea to be ready. By that I mean lay up 2-3 weeks of groceries, and I'm talking about the stuff that you look at as a convenience, like toilet paper, bandages, medicines, that you cannot or may not be able to get at the store. Now, what will definitely be supplied are survival things as they can be. In other words, the store will get a truck, but if you're out of toilet paper and they don't got any, I'm telling you, leaves are not fun. So these sorts of commonsensical things. The other part of it is that there are caches of food that they can use under emergency situations to make sure people can eat. So all of these things have been...
Drake, hang on. She's talking to you.
Okay. Well, we've got a break coming up here. I do have some questions. We've got a caller we'll get to right when we get back. And I also have a question from people wanting to know if they're apathetic, isn't that what they want to do so they can come in and actually have a coup without us even realizing we've been had once more. Hopefully that is not the case. We'll address that right when we get back, folks. Stay tuned. All right, we're back. This is the second hour of Wide Awake News, Charlie McGrath's program. Charlie is out tonight. I am Karen Quintostado. I'll be back on Friday with Michael Shaw of Agenda 21. That affects us all. If you have not familiarized yourself with it, you want to tune in then. Right now, though, we have Drake and we have Deatra from freedomreigns.us. And we have Barry from California on the line. I think I'm going to get Barry up first with a call. We'll see what Barry has to contribute, and then I've got a couple questions that were from the chat. All right, Barry, welcome to the program.
Hey, Karen, thank you for taking my call. And I'm familiar with you on RBN with Rick Adams, and you're doing a great job with United We Strike.
Thanks.
I am very familiar with Deatra and Drake. I've been following Drake since the interview with David Wilcox. And just to let you know, I'm not just a regular caller. I'm a retired Air Force vet. And in fact, I worked with the military for 4 years as a civilian, but got banned from the base because of my political views, because I want to go back to a Republican form of government. So I'm in this fight as well as anybody else, and I understand everything what Drake's saying. In fact, I saw one of my buddies from the base that's still in the military, and he says, do you remember when they supposedly lost the Sukes? They were supposed to be going to Louisiana, and they were on a military plane. He says, what happened was the bad guys were trying to take them and to use them for bad, and the good guys in the military stopped them. So a lot of people don't know that. That's behind the scenes information, and that's what some of the Drake is talking about. Drake also in his interviews on Freedom Reigns and on with David Wilcox mentioned that not just the military getting involved, but that the U.S. Marshals are getting involved and willing to arrest the corrupt people in the government and the corporations and the banks, not just around the world, but here in the United States. So I would love to hear him talk about that. And then also, there's also a plan to revitalize our local economies and buy local. And I know that's right up your alley, Karen, and you might want to ask him about that later on. But that's what I have to offer for the show today.
Well, thank you, Barry. Just a quick question for you before I let Drake go ahead. Are you hearing from other people in the military? Is this word spreading that you know of?
Yes, there's a lot more good people in the military than people really think. They will not take unlawful orders, especially for someone that is supposed to be the president that,
right,
that they can really trust. I mean, can you really trust Obama? I mean, do we know really where he comes from? But, he's heading us in the wrong directions, and then you get the national defense thing that he passed, and then the most recently taking over, the security thing that where he wants to take your food away and all that.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, Karen, the military will stand by the people, the majority of them.
Well, that's great, Barry. Thank you for calling in. There, Drake, would you like to address his comments?
Well, those are basically accurate. As I said, I did one specific show on Freedom Reigns that addressed the troops, what their position, condition, and actions to take should be. This not only went worldwide like wildfire through the troops, it also has raised itself to command levels. And my intention was to let the military know exactly where the standing is. Now, what must be remembered in this is that this is to be a peaceful transition. In other words, one government will be replaced, certain key people will be put into places on a temporary basis so that the system can continue to run to an extent without collapsing or running off the tracks. In the meantime, everything should be basically a peaceful deal. Like I said, I've contacted the underground groups and requested that they be as ready as they can, but stand down. In other words, don't engage the military or the police. Back them up if they ask you, and they very well may. It depends on the situation, where you're located, and that sort of thing. There is a great amount of possible unrest that they're looking at that could happen in some of the major cities. Other than that, primarily, most people can just go to work, not worry about it, other than, having the news tell you that, this has been done. I don't see that there'd be too much difference. There may be shortages shortly after that, but those can be dealt with.
That's a concern to some people who are thinking that possibly what this is just another cover story to keep them apathetic, so they don't realize that the coup has gone on in the background and they're none the better for it. What would you say to those people?
Very simply that approximately 80% or better of the present standing military. This includes reserve units and retired or disabled, stand by their oath of service, which states that they will not do certain things. It's similar to oath keepers. There are certain actions that you can take and certain actions that you cannot. One of those is to engage in removal of somebody from their house, pulling all their food stocks or guns. This sort of stuff is garbage. Now, people probably aren't aware of this, but Tricky Dick Nixon tried to pull exactly what they're talking about. He did not know what he was doing, for one thing, and he had some bad contacts and got caught in the process, and they got rid of him. The process that we're working on now is already engaged. In other words, the legalities that are prerequisite to the military taking the action are on their way. This will happen in the future.
Okay, a lot of folks are saying that they heard about a nonviolent takeover with the Restore America plan, which equaled, TRAP, trap, but the Restore America plan.
Karen?
Yes.
Darren, can I kind of address that just in a quick little statement here? With all of the NDAA stuff that has been put out and all the fear-mongering towards our military that has been done by the corporation, if the military went in and actually stormed all of these corporate buildings, from D.C. all the way down to state level, and it was actively going on before your eyes, would you be more afraid of seeing all of those military come in and rushing your capitals and everything else? To me, if the military would do that, that would only instill even deeper fear, and we would end up with more bloodshed, because you would have people out there going, oh, my God, the military's here, and they're going to shoot first, ask questions later. Would it not be more dangerous that way?
No, that's a very good point. And again, I'm playing devil's advocate here because I would love for this to be true. And there are a lot of different stories that have gone on. The thing that I'm wondering if is somehow connected, what about all these banker resignations? I mean, I do see something's going up, as well as J.P. Morgan is dropping the Vatican account. Drake, is this tied into what you were talking about?
Yes, it is. I know the people personally who did all that. Something that you might want to note is that the same day the resignations started in Europe is also the same day that they could not intercept the package that we sent to The Hague. Now, they knew it was coming. They tried to intercept it. They missed. And when they found they'd missed, they knew they were in trouble. So they started running for the door. Now, here's